Hello guys, welcome back to another Lumley trading video. In this one we're going to be going over kind of the weekly recap on our funding challenge. The reason we're doing it as a weekly recap is again, and why the audio is quite poor now, is I'm still away for the holidays. I'm not back until probably the 26th, so just bear with the bad audio until then, and then we'll be back to the normal setup. But we're doing it a daily recap because, again, I'm struggling to make videos away from the normal setup. So we're just trying to get out at least one a day, which today is going to be this one. So Core PCE released at 8:30. Again, we didn't send this out in the newsletter. Reason for that is we did actually send this out on December 1st. So you could have gone back. It's the same trade plan for that. Or you could have gone back to the video that we posted on this before. But again, it was the same trade plan. We'll send them out when I'm back at home, but it's just a bit annoying when I'm away from home. So Core PC came out at 8:30, 7 minutes ago. We're just doing the recap now because we've done trading for the day, really. When we're hitting the news trades, we only need to see when the news events are, and they're usually either 8:30, 10 o'clock, or 10:30, usually the only key times to be paying attention to. So, firstly, how much did we make? On this trade, we made $1,000. And again, you can see the fills over here. And how long did that take? 12 seconds. And this is what really the key thing, and I think is always a big eye-opener with trading, is you can make that much money. I mean, what most people probably make in, probably a week or two, and you can make it, within 10 seconds, which again, obviously you're taking on risk. You could also lose that in 10 seconds. So it's not to say, it's the easiest thing in the world, but it's just really eye-opening that you can kind of do that in trading. But what did we do on this trade? So again, we hit the entry, the first entry 1 second in, the second one we were 8 seconds in, and then again we closed the trade out 5 seconds later. And the reason for this is, again, this is a 10-second chart. The news comes out on this figure, we know it's going to be a fade. Every time, at least in the past kind of 6-7 months, every time this figure is released, if you look at the US indices, they spike in our direction, they come back to where they were, and then again they might go direction, then they might kind of reverse. That's why we only look to play it for about 10 seconds is usually how long the trade lasts. And all we do is we wait for that spike in our direction, we play against a move, we jump in. So that's exactly what we did here. We're going to hit in with a max of 2 contracts. So I'm hitting one contract at a time, hitting one here, because again, what are these lines here? So I know usually it goes to between kind of 30 to 60 ticks. So this first line is 30 ticks from that level. The second one is 60. It spiked instantly. Near enough instantly, all the way kind of down. So we hit in instantly, got in, it pushed a bit lower, got in with another contract. Because again, we're going in with a max of 2. That's why I get in one at a time, because if it continues to go against you, we know it's probably going to be a fade. We hit in one more. And then even if we're going to cut out, for example, if it doesn't fade for any reason, we know we need to cut out the loss. Our loss won't be as big because we didn't hit in 2 right at the top. So that's why, again, I do the orders separately. And then, basically held it for about 5 seconds more after that second entry. And then it spiked back up to entry. So that's exactly where you get out, because again, that's the trade complete. That's what we're looking for, the fade. The move of the news comes back to kind of where it was before, pre-news. That is the trade plan. Whatever happens after here, I don't care about. That's not as predictable. That, what we traded, happens 9 times out of 10. That is a predictable trade. You can get some good risk management in the sense, on your losing trades, you will lose more than your winners, just because, again, you still think it's going to be a fade, but it works more than it doesn't. It works, I said, in the last kind of 7 months, I don't think there's been a fail on the trade. So if you know that, yes, you can take on that added risk. Even if your risk to reward on it is, say, 0.5 to 1, you can take that risk just because okay, it's more likely going to work. So again, you'd never say in a trade forever, just because you never know if it's 100% going to work. But it's all about risk management. How likely is it to work? If it's very likely to work, again, you can take on more risk, just because if like this trade, I know I have a 90% certainty that it's going to work. So I'm happy to, risk, say, maybe $4,000 to get the trade to work in kind of the expectation to make $1,000, because I know, okay, even if I get that loser, I imagine the next 6 of these trades will win, and then overall, obviously, you'll be up in money. So that's how I kind of look at the trade. You kind of have to take a bit more risk, and that's the only thing is a kind of bit more risky with trading this kind of trade where you're trading the fade. And again, the reason it's risky is just because, again, you don't kind of know where your stop is going to be. You kind of just have to watch it. Is it not working? If so, you kind of just have to cut out. And the way I would kind of do that is if you're really just not getting any green, like you can see here kind of quite quickly you got these green candles. If it was just red, 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 I would probably just cut out because, again, yes, it's at some point going to have to reverse, but how much pain can you sit through? So again, that's all going to have to go down to personal experience, and that's going to be why you have to kind of test this yourself. Again, probably don't hit it with real money right away. Use it with paper money, watch these live, see how they react, start getting an understanding of how they move. But again, this is just really the importance of understanding the patterns when these news releases. Do you need to pay attention to the number? Like for this release, I didn't even pay attention to what the number was. Again, we have it over here. We can go over to Forex Factory, see what the number was. Came out in line. So again, if you're fading the move, that is ideal. But again, I'm away from home. This is the only screen I have. I don't have my normal 3 ultra wide screen setup. So I can't fit it on my screen to literally see this result come out. So that is kind of making plans as well, is do I need to see the number? If I need to see the number, I know I'm not going to trade it away from home. If I don't need to see the number, like in this trade, I can trade it anywhere, like we did today. So that was the key thing. That was the trade we did. Now, what else can we go through? Really, as you can kind of see where we're up. We're up about 1.1k on the challenge. We made about $1,000 today. So before this, we were about break even. Now, why was that? So I think the last recap, we were about break even as well. So we did actually take 2 trades within that within this week. And again, those are the weekly trades: the crude oil fade and the natural gas fade. Now we're at the journal over on the Under Trade. This again where we can see all the trades for the week. So what you can see, Wednesday, what happened on Wednesday's trade, we made $325. What was this trade? Again, just a crude oil came out, hit the trade. And again, it's really just the same trade as always. For some reason, Thursdays isn't showing, but I think we lost $310 on that trade. Now, that was down to human error. The trade worked out if I followed the rules. I was actually in the car driving somewhere, obviously in the passenger seat, I'm not trading while driving, but came on, my signal was just really bad in the car, shouldn't have took the trade, but when I opened up the platform, I saw the big move, I saw it hadn't actually moved back, so I hit into the trade. Little did I know, it actually made that move before the release, so again, it was just kind of, because I wasn't watching it before the release, I was kind of rushed to the trade in the car. I kind of just lost some money on it, but overall the trade would have worked. It's just about what kind of happened, and again in that case it was just shouldn't have taken the trade in the car, should have probably paid a bit more attention. If I had bad signal, just don't take the trade. But again, that's all part of just trading. You learn, you live, you learn. As long as you kind of get through it, it's all right. So again, those 2 trades kind of just broke out break even, and then today's obviously going to be $1,000, which is a nice thing to add over. So again, for the challenge now, we're up about $1,000. We have to make $3,000 to pass the challenge. No more than 30% can come from one day. So again, today we made $1,000. So it's going to be a bit over that 30%. So it just means we probably have to make a tiny bit more than $3,000 now. So we probably have to make about 3,100, 3,200 to now complete the challenge. But again, that's all fine. There's nothing we can really do with that. Sometimes you're going to get a bit more on a trade, but either way, it's quite good. We're now kind of around 33% of the way to completing the challenge, a bit over that actually. I think 30 or probably about 40%. So we're getting there. We've done 12 of the 15 minimum trading days. So again, no matter what, you have to trade 15 days. We've done 12 of those days. So we're kind of just crossing off those days as we go as well, which is quite nice. So really coming into next week, I don't think there's too much. It's really just going to be the crude oil and the natural gas trade. Those should be quite profitable. We'll be looking to probably make about 1,000 between those. So if we can hit those, which will be quite nice, we'll hit one more day on our minimum trading days. We should hopefully be around 2,000 up on the account, and then we'll just be looking for around that last 1,000 coming into probably the new year. Again, there's not many trading days next week. I think the only trading day we have is either Wednesday or Thursday, because both the trades are thrown onto one day. Both the crude oil and the natural gas are going to be released on the same day, just because one of them is a holiday. So if we quickly go over, I think it is over on the Thursday. Yeah, so Thursday, you can see we've got natural gas and crude oil. So this will be quite a big day to be trading. But really, next week, not too much. Obviously, it's kind of the Christmas holiday. We're not paying attention to too much. So we'll look for that trading day only, really. And then going into the new week, then we start getting some new releases. So from Jan 3rd, we've got ISM, and we can start hitting those big trades and hopefully complete that kind of the challenge coming into early next month. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, why not drop a like and subscribe, and check out the previous video of the challenge if you haven't already. Peace.